Hi friends, Andromeda of Earth here. Thank you for coming, showing up. Playing with my Rider-Waite Smith deck today. I have the Albano-Waite version. This one's a little different in the colors. The colors are updated. You know, it's purple. Temperance has a really beautiful rainbow above it. You know, that's not a classical thing, but I think it makes a lot of sense, especially when I just read last night. I was reading up on the card of Temperance, and they speak of the rainbow in the Kabbalah and Hebrew influences into that card can literally mean rainbow in Hebrew. And so when I read that, I was like, oh, maybe that's why someone ended up actually putting a rainbow above the winged figure. Amazing. Anyway, be interesting if Temperance shows up. We're doing the weekly read for January 26th, 2020 to February 1st. If you are seeing this reading outside of those times, this message could definitely still be for you. Listen and see if it resonates. Do the questions sound relevant? Are the things I'm talking about hitting home? If it is, great. If not, feel free to move on else. Anyway. So this week, we'll be doing our Know, Show, Grow light and dark spread. Consistency is nice. Helps us to see progression. We are about to start a new month. We're wrapping up January's energies. I welcome any and only benevolent beings to this space. I welcome any being who is in alignment with divine will and universal law, who is in alignment with the most good of all involved and harm to none. I love you. I thank you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. What information would we benefit from receiving? So for no, we've got judgment. We've got the dead raising up out of their graves, being called, beckoned by this enormous winged person. An angel, maybe? This is the same figure, neither male nor female. It's the same figure that is actually in the Temperance card. Their flag that's on the horn there is a cross, right? I love the cross as a figure for symbolizing our connection to our peers, as well as, that up and down connection between the various dimensions. Yep. Interesting. I'm looking at these beings below, and it's like these ones in this instance, they aren't actually dead. Instead, they were on their way. They even made their own graves. They made their own final resting place. And they're standing in it, and they're just like ready to die. You know, they don't have any other reason. It's what they've been told to do. But now, you know, some information has been revealed to them, some sound. You know, this person is blowing, this figure is blowing into their horn, and the beings are receiving the sound and looking up. And it's almost like they now have an opportunity to judge their life and decide whether they want to die or not. That's what I'm saying. So that is a way to keep in mind with our mental processes. You know, are we in the state of receiving the sound from above? Are we open? You know, are we still building our own grave? There's no right or wrong. Now, there's a blue background here. I've learned that means clarity. You know, you can really be receiving experiences this week where we can discern whether those aspects are for us or not. We have the choice. You know, we've got two tens above. This is the 20th card. We've got XX, so the Roman numerals for 20. So that's 2 tens. It's like 2 completions. You know, it's like you've completed a cycle and then you've completed again. Interesting. I just saw, okay, so in astrology, when you have 2 planets together, they're conjunct. And then, you know, the one planet that travels faster will get to this point and it'll be square. And that's a completed moment. Usually a decision's made. And then you get to this second one, you know, and there's another opportunity for an obstacle and a choice and a lesson to be made. And one that's specifically really connected to this other one because they're on that 180-degree axis. They're on the same axis. So it's like we're in that opposition kind of moment inside of our heads. Interesting. Okay, let's do our hearts. Got the Ace of Wands. So an initiation of our passions and our power and our ambitions and our dreams. You know, a desire, you know, is being sparked. Our heart having such powerful electromagnetic fields, that is the very core, not only of our physiology and our life, you know, that initial spark. It's how we project it out and then also receive, again, like the toroidal field. So sparking physiologically, sparking emotionally, you know, and a singular type of drive. Feel free to show the world what it is that you are passionate about. Pick a thing. Yeah, don't complicate it. Don't pick 5 things. Your attention gets split up and nothing really gets done well. If you pick a thing and it gets done, you know, completed to a satisfactory place, and then you still want to do something else, go for it. Pick another thing, you know, but focus. I don't know what the orange means, but I can then use my own association of the color orange. I think of the sacral chakra. I think of our ability to be connected to our sexual energy, that very creative energy, the place where we create life, the place where we create, you know, destruction. You know, it's a very connected kind of space. We have a castle underneath here in the water. So it's like we've got this pipe dream. Yeah, but it's not like super far out. It's just like we haven't done the work yet. You know, we haven't done any of the work, and that's okay. Just showing up. Make that declaration with your heart. It doesn't have to be to other people, but it can. Okay, let's do grow. The 4 of Swords. So grow. And I tend to think about rest with this, or stagnation. You know, this looks to be in a church because of the stained glass. The main person or being in this in this card is dead. They are not animating at all. They've got 3 swords pointing down on them, and then the 1 sword below them as like kind of their root foundation. The swords are pointed at the 3rd eye, the heart, and the solar plexus. That's coming out to me as important. So our heart, that's the center there, and then our 3rd eye and our solar plexus. It's missing our throat. Maybe that's the one that's underneath them is their throat. So is your throat, you know, shut down, stagnating, especially in regards to what you think? Is it time for a rest purposefully? Like, that is completely okay. It's not a bad idea to know when to speak and when to let sleeping dogs lie. Is that the saying? Where are we when you look at this card? Are we in a church? Are we in a temple? Are we outside? Are we at home? Gray background. I believe that indicates wisdom. 4 of air. There's not a lot of movement in this card. It's telling me that our balance for our head and our heart will grow as we are able to allow the world to move around us while we figure out what is our foundation, what is our mental structure. You know, it's time to take a step back from the movement and let the world kind of show itself to you. Let the world come to you and take a moment to kind of observe, and you can realign. You can get up whenever you want to. No decision is final or permanent. This person can get up and grab any one of these swords, these powerhouses that they want. They're in meditation right now. Contemplation. What does that practice look like in your life? You know, the mindfulness. You know, being that it is a Emperor year, the 4th card in the Major Arcana, and this being a 4, it's definitely pointing out to our awareness of getting right in our head. You know, making sure we have all of our stuff in alignment, and we can get up, grab that sword that's underneath us, the one that's kind of keeping us there, and hang it up on the wall, whatever direction we want. It's our choice. I grabbed the Wildly Tarot deck mainly as a comfort blanket. It's so nice to have, you know, the flashcard kind of thing when you are someone who doesn't know every single meaning for every single card. But it's also really great for divination practices, and we'll use this for the light and dark this week. So the light was the 8 of Cups. We just got this card, the reading I just did for the new moon. Transition, changing direction, leaving things behind. So finding balance. Being aware of our emotions. You know, what powers our emotions? What allows us to be adaptable? I think this really speaks to this and this changing directions. Our light is, or our dark, pardon me, is the 5 of Swords. So, chaos, right? This says ambition, selfishness, and single-mindedness. I'm not always a huge fan of the way that 5s are represented in the classical tarot, but I do enjoy the opportunity for change and chaos. So that to me, you know, is gonna happen when we make a declaration of what our passions are. There are gonna be people that are like, what? I didn't get what? I didn't get to, like, go for my passion, so why should you? It's gonna be there. It's gonna be people that are projecting, you know, all of their own issues onto you, and that in itself is a huge blessing. Not only do you get to see people for who they really are, but then you have an opportunity to choose, not only to have them in your life in a significant way or not. I think it's really important that we only share our moves with people that we 100% know are going to be supportive. You know, all of that mental energy that they project onto your project or whatever it is you're working on, that's real currency. Of course, talking about your stuff to everyone and going through the experience of being derailed because too many people are thinking of a thing, and then your thing only manifests in thought in that way. You know, that experience is important too. Gotta love a cautionary tale. So having that Five of Swords, you know, in our subconscious undercurrents, our unconscious collective kind of thing, means that not everyone's gonna get along. Not everyone has the same passion drive as you, but being okay with someone else doing their thing, you know, that's gonna save you from being hung up on them, you know, making sure that they are comfortable with your choice. We have no business being managers of other people's opinions. That's a waste of time. That's a sure way to get derailed, and never really get to receive the blessings from this poof, you know, this thing we are receiving, you know, this beautiful passion dream power. The only thing I'm not seeing in this are any pentacles. So do not be upset or worried or surprised if nothing actually physically manifests in this week. At the same time, because we're not receiving it here in the cards and knowing, maybe that is because we will be receiving it in person. But that to me is definitely a message. So be mindful of how we are working with the earth this week. It might take a little extra connection because the connection isn't just so readily available to us. Okay, I'll lay this out. I will do some energy work with the crystals, set up a grid, some Reiki, create some journal prompts, things for you to explore further. As always, I never want to predict or tell you what's going to happen, only invite awareness, curiosity as to what is our potential. And it's infinite. Okay, those other things will be on part 2. They'll be on my Patreon. Thank you so much for being